This is why prophecy is unfolding fast. Jared Kushner, One World Religion, Israel Peace. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Bible prophecy is unfolding faster right now.
March 4th, 2024, the Gulf of Oman. 3 warships cut through the water in perfect formation. Russian, Iranian, Chinese. For the first time in recorded history, these 3 enemies are moving as one. Russia fought 4 bloody wars against Persia. China aimed nuclear missiles at Russia for 30 years. Iran executes people for the very beliefs China and Russia claim to defend. They hate each other, yet now they train together, plan together, prepare together. What could possibly unite 3 nations with nothing in common? The answer was written 2,600 years ago. Look at what makes this alliance completely unnatural. Russia built its identity on Orthodox Christianity for 1,000 years. Vladimir Putin publicly presents himself as a defender of the Christian faith. He quotes the Bible in speeches. The Russian Orthodox Church calls him God's chosen leader. Now he's shaking hands with Iran. Iran's government is run by Islamic clerics who start every official gathering with "Death to the infidels." Russia is literally an infidel nation by their definition, yet they're sharing military technology worth billions. It gets stranger. China imprisons over 1 million Muslims right now. The Uyghur minority sits in concentration camps for the crime of being Muslim, forced labor, forced sterilization, cultural genocide. Iran knows this. Iran is the self-proclaimed defender of Islam worldwide. Yet Iran just signed a $400 billion cooperation deal with China. Pure hypocrisy. History screams that this makes no sense. Russia and Persia, Iran's old name, fought wars that killed hundreds of thousands. The 1804 War, the 1826 War, blood soaked into the same ground for a century. China and the Soviet Union nearly launched nuclear weapons at each other in 1969. They built up arsenals specifically to destroy one another. Millions of soldiers dug into borders preparing for invasion. These aren't old friends reuniting. These are enemies who've spent centuries trying to destroy each other. So what changed? One word binds them. One experience they all share: humiliation. Russia's humiliation came in 1991. The Soviet Union collapsed almost overnight, a superpower reduced to begging the West for food aid. Putin watched it happen as a KGB officer in Germany. He has never forgotten. China calls theirs the century of humiliation. From 1839 to 1949, foreign powers carved up their country like a Thanksgiving turkey. The Opium Wars, Japanese invasion, Western powers controlled Chinese ports and treated Chinese people like servants in their own land. Iran's humiliation is more recent. 1979, the Shah fell, the Islamic Revolution took over, and ever since, the world has isolated them. Sanctions, blocked from banking systems, treated like a pariah state. 3 nations, 3 wounds, 3 grudges against the same target, the West. But there's one detail that changes everything. They're not just angry, they're not just isolated, they're following a script. That script was written by a man named Ezekiel. He was a Jewish prophet taken as a slave to Babylon around 593 BC. In the middle of his captivity, God showed him a future invasion. A coalition of nations would gather for one purpose: to attack a regathered Israel. Ezekiel names them. First, Gog, of the land of Magog. For centuries, scholars debated, where is Magog? A 1st century historian named Flavius Josephus gives us the key. He said Magog was home to the Scythians, fierce warrior tribes from the far north. Draw a straight line north from Jerusalem, you hit Moscow. The far northern edge of the ancient world is modern Russia. DNA evidence confirms it. Modern Russians are distant kin of those ancient Scythian warriors. Second nation, Persia. No decoding needed. Until 1935, the entire world called Iran Persia. The Bible uses its real name. Persia's borders today are almost identical to 2,600 years ago. Third group, the kings of the East. The book of Revelation is even clearer. It describes an army of 200 million soldiers coming from where the sun rises, the Orient, the East. No ancient army ever approached that number. It sounded like fantasy, until now. Today, only one nation east of Israel has the raw population for a 200 million-man army. China has over 400 million citizens of military age. 3 names, 3 nations, named 26 centuries before they formed this alliance. But why would Russia, a global giant, care about tiny Israel? The prophecy gives the chilling reason. God says, "I will put hooks in your jaws." Russia doesn't come because it wants to. It comes because it's driven, compelled. And in our time, we can see the hook. It's not religion, it's not ideology, it's gas. Russia built its modern power on one resource, natural gas. The state-owned company Gazprom controls the largest gas reserves on Earth. For decades, Europe depended on Russian gas to heat homes and power factories. That dependence gave Moscow leverage over entire governments. Then Israel discovered something that changed everything. Off its Mediterranean coast, geologists found the Leviathan gas field, one of the 10 largest natural gas deposits ever discovered, enough to make Israel energy independent for generations. But Israel didn't want to just use it, they wanted to sell it. Plans emerged for a massive pipeline, Israeli gas flowing directly to Europe, bypassing Russia completely. Putin couldn't allow it. If Israeli gas reaches European markets, Russia's primary weapon disappears. Billions in annual revenue vanish. Political leverage evaporates. Ezekiel wrote, "You will come to seize plunder and carry off spoil." The hook isn't conquest, it's economics, it's survival. And Russia is already positioned for the strike. Thanks to the Syrian civil war, Russia now operates 2 military installations on Syria's coast, the port of Tartus and the Khmeimim air base. They have permission to stay until 2066. Those bases sit just 60 kilometers from Israel's northern border. For the first time in history, Russia and Israel effectively share a border. The prophet Daniel saw this moment too. He described a second beast rising up, a bear. It had 3 ribs in its mouth. Watch what Russia devoured. Georgia in 2008, Crimea in 2014, Ukraine in 2022. 3 ribs, 3 territories swallowed. The bear's appetite isn't satisfied. But wait, there's something that doesn't add up about the second player in this alliance. Iran should be wealthy beyond imagination. They have the second largest natural gas reserves on the planet, enough oil to rival Saudi Arabia, a highly educated population, strategic location at the crossroads of global trade. Instead, more than half their people live below the poverty line. This isn't economic mismanagement, it's deliberate. Iran spends $16 billion every year funding armed groups across the Middle East, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen, militias in Syria and Iraq. They've rejected at least 15 major peace deals that would have lifted sanctions and made the country rich. Why? The answer is religious, but not the way most people think. Iran's leaders follow a branch of Islam focused on a figure they call the Mahdi. They believe this messianic leader disappeared over 1150 years ago. He's waiting, hidden, and he'll only return when the world descends into absolute chaos. Here's the terrifying part. They don't think they're supposed to wait for the chaos. They believe it's their sacred duty to create it. The former president spent $20 million renovating a well where they claim to communicate with the Mahdi. The government sets aside $500 million annually just to prepare for his return. In Tehran, there's a giant digital clock in a public square. It doesn't count hours, it counts down the days until Israel's destruction. They've created something called the Ring of Fire, a network of proxy armies encircling Israel like an octopus. To the north, Hezbollah, with over 150,000 rockets aimed at Israeli cities. To the south, Hamas, constantly rebuilding arsenals with Iranian money. To the east, militias in Syria and Iraq, with over 140,000 fighters. To the sea, Houthis in Yemen launching missiles that can already reach southern Israel. Iran has built a 1,700-kilometer supply route from Tehran straight to Israel's northern border. Weapons, money, fighters, all flowing on one continuous highway. Every Friday, in over 60,000 mosques across Iran, prayers end the same way: death to Israel. In schools, math textbooks teach children to calculate missile trajectories. The target in the problems? Tel Aviv. Iran even has a volunteer force called the Martyrs Brigade. Over 50,000 people registered and ready to die in suicide attacks. The government pays their families $2.3 billion a year. Normal countries don't behave this way. Cults do. But Iran can't execute this plan alone. They need the third player, the giant from the east. And that's where it gets truly chilling. When the Apostle John wrote the book of Revelation around 95 AD, he described something impossible: an army of 200 million soldiers marching from the east. The entire global population at that time was only 300 million people. John was describing an army 2/3 the size of all of humanity. Skeptics laughed for 2,000 years. Impossible, they said. Proof the Bible is fiction. Then came China. Today, China has approximately 427 million people of military age. That's more than the entire world population when John wrote those words. For the first time in human history, a 200 million soldier army is mathematically possible. But can they actually mobilize that many people? Look at what happened during COVID-19. The Chinese government locked down over 1 billion people in their homes within 72 hours. Total compliance, total control. They have a registration system called Hukou that tracks every citizen from birth. The government knows where you are, where you work, who your family is. In 2024, China conducted military drills called Stride and moved nearly 3 million troops simultaneously, a world record. If they can move 3 million for a drill, moving 200 million for war is no longer fantasy. But here's what makes China's role so bizarre. China is officially atheist. The Communist Party banned religion. They destroyed churches and mosques. Faith is considered a mental illness by the state. Yet for 5,000 years, China has proudly called itself one thing: the dragon. Chinese people call themselves descendants of the dragon. Their ancient emperors sat on the dragon throne. The dragon represents power, wisdom, good fortune. Now look at what the Bible says about the dragon. Revelation chapter 12, the great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan. In Scripture, the dragon appears 35 times. Every single time, it symbolizes evil, destruction, Satan himself. China celebrates what the Bible condemns. They've branded themselves with the mark of their own destroyer for 5,000 years and never realized it. But wait, China does billions in business with Israel. They buy Israeli technology, computer chips, medical devices, agricultural systems. Why would they attack their own trading partner? Because they're also funding Israel's worst enemy. That $400 billion deal with Iran isn't just about oil, it's about position. And there's one more piece of the puzzle most people miss. China already controls part of Israel. The Shanghai International Port Group operates a major section of Haifa Port. Israel's nuclear submarines, their most powerful deterrent, pass right under Chinese cameras every time they leave port.
The future invader already has eyes inside the target. But there's an even bigger problem. An ancient barrier that once made this invasion impossible is disappearing.
September 15, 2020. The White House lawn. Jared Kushner stood beside Israeli and Arab leaders as they signed the Abraham Accords, historic peace agreements. Israel normalized relations with the UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, Morocco. The media called Kushner a peacemaker. The Bible calls peacemakers something else. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly. Kushner didn't just broker peace, he built financial bridges between worlds that weren't supposed to connect. After leaving the White House, Kushner launched Affinity Partners, a $3 billion investment fund. The biggest investor? Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. They gave him $2 billion. Now track his connections. Russia. Kushner companies had significant Russian investor involvement in multiple real estate projects before 2016. China. His family business received hundreds of millions from Chinese investors. His wife, Ivanka, was granted valuable Chinese trademark approvals during the administration. Middle East. He maintains deep financial ties with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all nations navigating the Iran threat. He's one of the few Americans with financial connections to all three prophetic players and Israel. Is Kushner deliberately fulfilling prophecy? Absolutely not. But consider the pattern. Daniel chapter 9 describes a future leader who confirms a covenant with many for 1/7, a peace deal. The Abraham Accords brought Israel and Arab nations together. Kushner's peace efforts, however well-intentioned, may have inadvertently set the stage. The Bible warns that a false peace will precede the greatest conflict. And right now, Kushner is still active in Middle East investments, still building financial frameworks, still connecting the very nations the prophecy says will collide. The peacemaker and the prophecy are on a collision course. But when will it happen? The answer is more terrifying than you think. 3 old men are running out of time. Vladimir Putin is 72 years old. That's older than the average Russian life expectancy. He's ruled Russia for over 2 decades. Age is catching up. Iran's Ayatollah Khamenei is 85. He's had prostate surgery. Parkinson's rumors circulate constantly. The person positioned to replace him holds even more extreme views. Xi Jinping is 71. Chinese Communist Party tradition says leaders must secure their legacy before leaving power. He's removed term limits, but biology doesn't negotiate. These aren't young revolutionaries with decades to plan. They are elderly leaders with maybe 5 years of active power left. And their countries face clocks running out too. China hits a demographic catastrophe by 2030. Millions of elderly people, not enough young workers to support them. The population pyramid inverts and collapses. Russia and Iran built their economies on oil and gas. The world is rapidly shifting to renewable energy. Every year, their primary wealth source loses value. 3 leaders, 3 nations, all facing the same deadline. The window for action is closing. Intelligence analysts project the optimal strike window 2025 to 2027. Look at the convergence happening right now. February 2022, Russia invades Ukraine. War returns to Europe's heart. October 2023, Iran activates Hamas. Israel is suddenly fighting on multiple fronts. 2024-2025, China conducts unprecedented military drills around Taiwan. U.S. intelligence warns invasion is imminent. 3 crises, almost simultaneous. Coincidence? And where is America, Israel's strongest ally? The United States is $36 trillion in debt. The country is savagely divided.
Recent polls show 74% of Americans fear civil war could break out domestically. It's hard to defend allies when your own cities are tearing themselves apart. Ezekiel saw this too. He described nations standing by and doing nothing, just asking questions. Have you come to seize plunder? They know what's happening. They won't stop it. The stage is set. The players are in position. And the battlefield has already been prepared.
There's a valley in northern Israel called Megiddo. Napoleon Bonaparte stood there in 1799 and declared it the most perfect natural battlefield on earth. Over 34 major battles have been fought there, more than any other location in recorded history. The book of Revelation calls it by another name, Armageddon. The valley is 608 square kilometers, flat, open, accessible from 3 directions. The only place on Earth large enough to hold an army of 200 million. Here's how the attack will unfold. From the north, Russia strikes like a hammer. Their Syrian bases launch airstrikes. 80 fighter jets can be airborne in minutes, just 165 kilometers from Israeli territory. From the east, China and Iran move as the anvil. The massive land force pushes west. At its narrowest point, Israel is only 70 kilometers wide. A coordinated strike could cut the country in half in hours. From the sea, Iranian proxies choke shipping lanes. The Houthis have already shown they can shut down commercial traffic in the Red Sea. Israel is surrounded, outnumbered 100 to 1. Every military model predicts total annihilation. But Ezekiel saw what happens next. God doesn't send another army. He doesn't use human weapons. He unleashes 7 judgments directly from heaven. First, a massive earthquake. Ezekiel 38:19 says the mountains will collapse and every wall will fall. The Dead Sea Fault, one of the most volatile geological formations on Earth, splits open beneath the invading army. Tanks worth millions flip like toys. Supply lines vanish into cracks in the earth. Second, confusion. 3 armies, 3 languages, Russian, Mandarin, Farsi. In the chaos, they can't communicate. Ezekiel 38:21 says every man's sword will turn against his brother. Friendly fire, fratricide, multiplied 1,000,000 times. Third, instant plague. Ezekiel 38:22 describes pestilence. Soldiers' organs dissolve while they're still standing. Blood seeps through skin, a disease no doctor has ever seen. Fourth, hailstones, but not normal hail. Revelation 16:21 says each stone weighs a talent, about 100 pounds, falling at over 180 miles per hour. The largest hailstone ever found weighed just over 2 pounds. These are 45 times heavier. Fifth, torrential rain in a desert. Ezekiel says, I will pour rain on him. Ground that's been dry for months turns to swamp in minutes. Vehicles sink, weapons jam in mud. Sixth, fire and sulfur, the same judgment that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Fire falls from a clear sky. Seventh, unclotting blood. Every wound, even the smallest cut, becomes fatal. Blood won't coagulate. 7 weapons, none of them human. When it's over, Ezekiel says only 1/6 of the army survives. Do the math. 200 million soldiers, 83.3% casualties. That's 166.7 million dead. In an area the size of a small province, nearly 11,000 bodies per square kilometer. There's nowhere to walk without stepping on a corpse. But God leaves survivors for a reason. 33 million traumatized witnesses return home, to Russia, to China, to Iran. Every single one telling the same impossible story. It wasn't an army that defeated us. It wasn't nuclear weapons. It was God. 5.5 million Chinese soldiers go home and say there is a God and he fights for Israel. The atheist state's greatest lie dies in 6 minutes. But what happens after the battle is almost more shocking. Ezekiel gives detailed cleanup instructions. 7 months to bury the bodies. Israel's entire population, about 9 million people, mobilized to cleanse the land.
That's 18 bodies per person. They name the mass gravesite the Valley of Gog, the Valley of Gog's multitude. Then comes something stranger, 7 years burning weapons as fuel. Ezekiel 39:9 says they'll use the invaders' military equipment for energy. For 7 years, Israel won't need to import oil or gas. The arsenal meant to destroy them becomes their provision. Every nation that didn't believe in God becomes a believer instantly. Russia returns shattered. China's atheism collapses in 6 minutes. Iran's clerics have no explanation. And here's the most disturbing detail. The leaders knew. Putin quoted Revelation in 2022. Iran's entire strategy revolves around end times belief. China branded itself the dragon for 5,000 years. They knew the prophecies. They fulfilled them anyway. Like Judas at the Last Supper, they thought they were in control. Every step was their choice, but every choice was predicted 2,600 years earlier. The world celebrates Israel's miraculous survival. The threat is over. Except it isn't, because Ezekiel's battle isn't the final war. While the world is still burying bodies and burning weapons, another figure emerges, not from the east, from the west, Europe. A leader with a new peace plan, a solution everyone accepts. He promises to prevent another catastrophe. He offers a 7-year treaty, and he has a number. Right now, in Geneva, the groundwork is being laid for